Alright, let's see if this is running. Let's do the sound check. Alright, so we're good for. Let's continue with time, princess. Alright, so we're good for. Let's continue with time, princess. Waiting always seems to take so long. As the Marensi and the party head towards Austria, the revolutionaries get louder and louder by the day, and the situation grows more chaotic. There are people giving rousing speeches everywhere, encouraging anti-royalty sentiments. So spilling just a bit of blood has only given them a brief taste of victory, and they want to rebel in order to achieve true freedom. Are they trying to obtain power or trying to snatch it by force? Or perhaps they have already lost their minds and they don't know the answer to that themselves. We already given our all, and now we can only pray earnestly to God and pray that Marenzi will return from Austria with good news. It's done, and I can change with my servant help and prepare to meet the Marenzi party that has just returned. Your Majesty, I am delighted to be able to meet according to schedule, and I have not failed you and Queen Teresa yet. Several days of rushing about has aged him even further, but his eyes remain the same, and yet he's alert as ever. Thank you, and glad to see that you have returned safe and sound. Where is Ferdinand? He should be with you. Time is precious, and I ask him to report to the king while I report to you, and you need not worry about his safety, Your Majesty. That's good. If anything had happened, I'd rather get executed on the balcony that day. Marenchi shook his head disapprovingly. Running risks for your sake is nothing, and if could exchange these old bones for your life, it would be more than worth it. I believe that he shares the same beliefs as I do, Your Majesty. Please don't look so sad. We only hope that Leopold II's decision really will bring more peaceful future to you and to France. He takes out what looks like a walking rosary and holds it out to me. Isn't this the rosary that the Queen Teresa often carried with her? Queen Teresa left this to King Leopold upon the second of her death, and he wishes you to have it. Now that it has been given to you, it represents his promise to you, and he has sworn an oath upon the Queen's name and hopes that you will believe in him. Believe in him, believe in what? He thinks over the plan or the way he plans to implement the thing. And has something happened? Maranzi looks hesitant, and I think there's something going on. Come, Maresi, I can take the shot, and you can tell me what he intends to do. There has been a sudden upheaval, and the revolutionaries have gained a lot of influence far more quickly than we anticipated. King Leopold II and Prussia had already reached a consensus and had agreed not to send troops to them for the time being. Unconsciously, he heaved a sigh of relief, and I'm glad that there won't be a war for now, but I'm worried about the future. If that is what fate has in store for us, no matter how cruel it is, we must accept it. I understand. Austria and Prussia should not be thrown their lives away because of France. Do not despair, Your Majesty. This is only a temporary measure. Is my older brother unable to help us? King Leopold intends to wait until the time is right, and when the losses will be minimal, and then both sides will be victorious. And he hopes you and the king can leave France first and meet up in Austria's troops at the border, and it will escort you from there. King Leopold hopes to move you into the country for protection, but King Ferdinand is strongly against it. And he is right. If I were French, I would oppose it too. Our military influence already in their hand, and if they were to take the king and I as well, France would surely be ruined. Do not worry, King Leopold has agreed to let his troops escort you to Sweden to seek political asylum. Everything that King Leopold II has done far is basically for Austria's benefit, and I'm rather surprised that he accepted this proposal. And even more surprising is that Sweden is willing to provide us political asylum. Sweden doesn't need to get involved in this plan, and what did Confession do? I'm not sure either, and he objected to the idea of accepting Austria's protection instantly and requested a private discussion with King Leopold II. And he managed to make King Leopold change his mind and even persuade his homeland to provide political asylum. And he's more efficient, even more outstanding diplomat than I ever was. I hope he hasn't done anything foolish. He's still young and hasn't reached the kind of grand old age when life can be given up easily, not like me. And I believe he won't do anything he will regret because he wants to continue protecting you, Your Majesty. Not just him, but you too. You're kind people, and if anything bad were to happen to you, I will never forgive myself. Marese bows his head and does not reply, and his shoulders start to tremble, and when he looks up back at me, his eyes are damp. Your Majesty, even though I've done so many things that amount to betrayal, you're still so concerned about me. I am ashamed of myself. You're always so kind, and I'm sorry that the people of France can recognize this fact about you. And he bends his frail elderly body in a deep bow. I do not ask for your forgiveness, and once I am done my task, no matter how you punish me, I will have no complaints. His words remind me of the day I first found out that he and Blaser have been working together and how furious I have been. No one likes to be deceived, but when I think about how he's willing to be hated by me and still risk his life to protect me, and how could I possibly blame him? Come, Marenzi, I order you to treasure your life, and no matter what happens, you must not sacrifice your life for anyone. Your Majesty, you say yes, and my mother might want you to protect me, but I believe that she wouldn't want to see anything horrible happen to you either. I remember back when the Queen wanted me to escort you to France, and she said something very similar to me too. She told me that Marance helped me protect my little girl and promised me that you'll keep yourself safe as well. The Queen has always felt bad about marrying you off to France at the tender age of 14. But she has to be a queen first and a mother second, so she kept reminding me to protect you in her place. And even at the very last moment of her life, she was still thinking about you. Marenzi does not continue, and he gazes out the window and seems to be struggling to contain more powerful emotions. Looking at him, I know that even if I don't ask for to promise him, he won't throw his life away recklessly. So the king and I will leave France, and what about you two? We must stay in Paris for a while longer to handle matters, and we won't be able to go with you. And the carriage and the guards have been arranged, and they were personally selected by the Marquis de Lafayette and Conferne and can be trusted. So don't worry about the matters of safety. And please keep the rosary with you, and you're needed to gain aid from Austrian soldiers at the border. And once you and the king have reached your destination, we will set off to meet you. Thank you for everything. This arrangement should be good for you too, and if we're discovered together, you'll all be in danger. So when are you leaving? The people might riot at any moment, so before everything explodes, we had decided to send you and the king tonight. Under the cover of darkness, our carriage leaves the Tuileries, and we get ready to be farewell to the land that has been our home. I leave a corner of the curtain and watch the trees of Paris go by, overwhelmed by a sea of emotion. Marie, don't look anymore, and you only make yourself sad. And as long as the people I care about can live on safely, that's all that matters. That is all. As long as we arrive to our destination safely, everything will be fine, I'm sure of it. Yes, if you believe that, I will believe that too. And when I let go of the curtain, the king finally starts looking out the window, and we look at one another but say nothing. An unknown future awaits us in the night. The carriage has been going on for most of the night, and the long journey and the sudden rush departure and our tired nerves have exhausted us. I don't know how long it'll take to get to Saint Menehound, and once we're there, we'll look for the people that the Marquis de Lafayette has arranged for us to meet. If we maintain this speed, perhaps it'll take us 4 days. 4 days, but we plan to reach there within 3 days. What's going on? I pull the curtains to check outside, and the weather seems fine, but the carriage seems to be moving really slowly. I look at the scenery, and Paris is not far away, and I get a bad feeling. We've been traveling for so long, but we're still so near Paris. God, what's going on? No matter what happened, we won't blame you. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. And my heart stops for a moment, and we must send you back to Paris. We must tell the people that you're trying to escape France. The king and I exchange a look, and I gaze disbelief at the guy, and countless possibilities flash across my mind. Has someone bribed you, and what are you going to do to us? No one has approached us, and we're doing this for the Marquis de Lafayette and Count Fernet. And the people trust them so much, and I can bear to see them go to their deaths because of you. His voice is full of admiration when mentioning Lafayette and Fernet. So you're afraid that our escape will be discovered and that they will get in trouble? I'm sorry, but we must do this. and they look at us without a shred of hatred, and assume that it's a decision they feel that they've been forced to make. I see. Well, he personally picked you up because he trusts you, and you accompany him in the battlefield and survive, and you're like brothers to him. Of course, you will be more loyal to him than me, and if it were me, I would do the same. I don't blame you, and what do you think you must do if it's truly what you want? I'm sorry, thank you, Your Majesty. The king looked at them gravely, and with the calm of one who has accepted his fate, as though even his last flicker of hope has turned to ash. And we do not resist, nor do we plan to resist in any way. The carriage storms back to Paris. The carriage starts and the guards pull the doors open and gestures for us to get out. And people left and the king and queen have betrayed France. And last night they planned to leave the country, and the great Marquis de Count de Lafayette discovered the plan and had decided to stand with the people. We chased after them and managed to bring them back to Paris. And I repeat, they betrayed France, betrayed their people. In a flash, everyone eyes around us. Liars, they are all liars, tricksters wearing crowns. And we don't want a king and queen like that top of them, and we establish our own country. They rage and jeer, and their eyes are like sharp daggers cutting us to the core. The commotion spreads throughout the square, and soon I can no longer make out what they're saying, and I can only stand mutely on the spot. And finally, I see them all rushing towards us like a pack of wolves about to tear us apart. The guards blocked them out, so we weren't killed on the spot that day. And the angry civilians had decided that we are to be executed to appease the hatred they had harbored so long within them. Executed. I guess it all comes down to this after all. I curled up in a corner of the dungeon cell. I hung myself and closed my eyes. Half asleep, I suddenly hear a crashing sound. Your Majesty, what are you doing? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to wake you. The king is feeling around with a long hairpin stuck in the lock as though he's trying to pick it open. And he's intently focused on the task, and every moment carefully precise, just like the way whenever he's analyzing locks in his study. Maria, I did it. Do you see that I did it? Now we can escape. We're not going to die here no matter what. Your Majesty, I thought you were like me. You thought I'd given up. It's easy to give up, but I don't want anyone else to be sacrificed because of me. Maybe if they know that we're here, I'm sure Lafayette and the rest of us will think of a way to rescue us. Yes, but right now the people regard them as heroes, and they can't oppose the people publicly. I really wish to see them, but we can't do that right now. As long as we manage, we won't get into any trouble, but it'll be far more dangerous than we can ever imagine. Even if we succeed, I'm afraid for our life will be more difficult. Our attempt to flee has angered the civilians, and no country will be able to send troops to save us. So much danger lies ahead of us, and I can't see any hope nor any light at the end of the tunnel. Push on in the face of great difficulty or wait here for death. There are only two options, and I know what my answer is. Your Majesty, mortal fear of death. And now we no longer fear death, so what else do we have to fear? You're right. The king gently pushes open the door and then motions for me to follow him. And the passageway is silent, and we see no sight of any guards. How could the security possibly be so lax? They seem that the king and queen, who only know how to waste money, are absolutely incapable of breaking out of a dungeon. It's as pathetic, but it's reality. Yes, I guess that's not such a bad thing after all, and we should make good use of this chance. And we walk carefully along the wall, and we stop at a fork of the passageway. It's dark, and we can't see what lies at the end of the route. But we can hear voices, and they say that where we are unsure which route to take. I think there are more voices down the left corridor. Let's take the one on the right. Meow. The cat had appeared out of the blue, and after meowing once, it was to the left passage and keeps turning his head to look back at us. Is he trying to get us to follow it? I swear, that cat causes us to end up in the guillotine. It seems ridiculous, but my gut tells me that the left passage has got to be the right choice. Your Majesty, it sounds crazy, but it must be a coincidence. But we should trust the cat and take the left passageway. Marie, perhaps we should take the path that has less risk of running into guards. Yes, but I believe that the animal has a natural instinct, and they always know how to avoid danger. Alright, since we're gambling, let's bet our luck on this cat. We cautiously follow the cat with it guiding us without into any other guards, although despite growing down several forks in our path. Seems like it's going well. And what's that sound? I think someone's dealing with the guards. Do you think they might kiss Lafayette and Conferne? I don't know. It could all be an enraged citizens who are charged into the dungeon. No matter what it is, we must be careful. Most sounds of bodies hitting the ground can be heard, and we hold our breath and continue on, prepared to see what lies ahead of us. And as we get near the sun, I imagine light glinting of sharp, deathly blades. In the darkness, I can see a dim shadow moving silently, and there is some kind of liquid dripping off the blade in the person's hand. Good evening, my queen and queen. It looks like that my majesty has decided to fly the coop, and what a lovely coincidence that we bump into one another. Otherwise, we must have gotten into a lot of trouble. Dion, is that you? Oh, I thought you'd be happy to see me. Of course we are, and you've been such a great help. Dion, I'm relieved to see you're okay, and thank you for not abandoning us despite the situation we're in. As long as I still live, whether it be night or day, I shall be forever loyal to the shadow of the Capetian dynasty. Of course, it's not been easy infiltrating the dungeon under the watchful eye of the people, and I am thankful to the knights for the raid. So then, Your Majesty, let's save the conversation till later, and with safely let's display. You and the king need to get ready to escape. We follow Dion and walk around the three fallen guards, nervously go out the front door. The funny thing is that we don't run into a single guard and no one tries to stop us. There's no one else here. What have you done? Just a big trick. I'm afraid the guards are currently chasing after a king and queen on the run. And if the people find out that the guards accidentally let such important characters escape, they will execute the guards as traitors. So don't worry for now. Please come this way. Dion leads us to a secluded alleyway and we see a very ordinary looking carriage. There's nowhere for us to go now, and where do you plan to take us? Dion has mischievous and gives us a mysterious confidence, ma'am. Trust me. This is where the path branches. I don't know when it started to rain, but the quiet night is giving us excellent cover. And with the another rain, the carriage rushes across the street, and along the way, he updates us on what's been going on. So then King and Queen have secretly contacted other countries and wish to deal a foul blow to the people who long for freedom and wrestle power back from them. The revolutionaries have been spreading their influence, and I'm afraid that even a 3-year-old child would support killing the king now. I can't say they're wrong, but no one knows what we're doing this because we fear for our lives. I just hope that our decision won't get blasted and the rest in trouble, and Harding. It's a good thing that all their communication was done verbally and no evidence was left behind, and the people's raid has not found any new targets. Blaser is suspected of aiding your escape, but he emphasized how upset he is over your action and has temporarily gained sympathy from the masses. He's a very shrewd hawk and won't get shot down by mere arrows. Don't worry about him. Yes, he was always my most capable minister, and if it weren't for him, I may already be in heaven. And as for the Marquis de Lafayette, he has been fortunate and yet unfortunate at the same time. The people trust him greatly, and he's forced to stand with them. How did that happen again? I thought they only wanted to kill us. Oh no. Do they want him to personally execute the royal family members? The unmorally death does not need to be accompanied by words, and we instantly understand the cruel truth. The knight who swore his loyalty to the royal family must now raise a sword against them. He's always done his best for the royal family and has always thought of the people, and now he's caught in between. I wish he'd be a bit more selfish and protect himself for once. But I know him well, and I'm afraid that he will secretly try to hatch a plan to save us. No, if that's the case, I think someone with such a strong sense of justice will constantly be tormented by his own conscience. Dion, please tell me, and did they ask for you to rescue us today? No matter who it is, Blastea, the Marquis, Confene, I don't want anyone to put themselves in danger for our sake. And Dion, you too, you are like a shadow, so I'm sure you know how to live on safely. Unfortunately, so very too late. You should know that unless you and the king die or manage to escape, this bloodbath will simply continue in France. Yes, Dion, tell me what's your plan to do, and I think you'll probably talk to Brazil lately. Sabito, suppose we really not had a chance to talk at all. The Marquis de Lafayette has been pushed to the elite the people, and his closest companions have betrayed you, and Blasdell already refuses to let him get involved any further. Camarence is furious as well, and he even looked for the Marquis de Lafayette to reproach him. How did he respond? He didn't say anything, he just stood there and listened, and then left. And I don't know what he intends to do. But a stubborn person like him won't give up so easily. I didn't expect things to come like this, and the king hits aside and lowers his head in thought and looks grave. I can't help but sigh as well, and so many things have happened in a span of just a few days. And they used to work together for the sake of France, and now they are on completely different paths. And what confident, those guards include some of his most trusted companions, and Blastia probably didn't go easy on him too. That's right, but he gave up pretty quickly. And after trying a few times to regain trust but failing, he decided to rely on himself instead. And more accurately speaking, he probably found someone else to trust. And the wheels start turning and the door gently opens when I have a chance to ask Dion who this person is. Dion, thank you for keeping our promise, and I will never forget this. He gives Dion a grateful smile, and an exhausted Fenner turns to face us. First, then, my king and queen, I apologize deeply for not getting you out sooner. And I had no companions with me this time, and just Dion and me, and I promise I won't let you get into danger. And please wait until we get somewhere safe before I tell you about everything else, and it's not far off, and let's make a move now. The whole world is looking for us, and what place in France could possibly be safe? The most dangerous place of all is the safest place. Are you talking about Versailles? Once we're back in Versailles, the king instantly offended to talk in private, and I can only wait for them to finish, and I pace restlessly in my room full of anxiety. If you keep walking around like that, I'll get dizzy. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just... The fireplace has been lit, but it's still a bit chilly. You should change it to something warmer, and we need you and the king both to be in good health to gain more support. You're right, thank you, and I'll leave things here for you. Your Majesty and the King's discussion has ended sooner than I expected, and I guess you won't be keeping on fretting. I followed his gaze and noticed the king and Fenner entering the room. Your Majesty, have you thought of what we should do next? Yes, my queen, I think you'd like to know all about it. Fenner has suggested that we follow our original plan and proceed to Sweden for political asylum. But we won't be aided by the Swedish forces this time. We only have the Fenner, and it's more dangerous than we imagine. I can't help but looking at them both, and they look like nothing's out of the order, and they're only talking about the daily hunt in the woods. Are we really going to do that? What if something happens to them while they're protecting us? No, I know that if we get them to stay, they'll suffer even more. Your Majesty, I know that you're concerned about us, but please remember that what I said to you in the balcony. Do not fear death. I merely fear dying with no regrets. That's why waiting will be more torturous for us, and I'm sure you already understand that, Your Majesty. Say no more. I won't stop you. I'm only worried about us, and we're worried about you, and as long as we are together, we can at least take care of one another. I guess I don't need to say more anyway, thank you. No, I should thank you and the king for letting us do what we want. And leave the sense till later, and we don't have much time left, and we should start preparing right away. The king looks a little better, and he looks at me meaningfully, as though he wants to be in a hurry. Understood? But your Majesty, what should we do about the Marquis de Lafayette and Blaisdell? I already have plans. The king takes out 2 sealed letters and gives them to Dion. Only you can find them in secret and counting on you, and please tell them to abandon all plans and just focus on their welfare and the people. And for now, only the commoner named Augustus exists. The one they call Louis the 16th is dead. There is no sound, and I sit by the window alone and look out into the distance, and I can hear a single person in the empty palace, and the bustle of Paris is not visible. If he managed to leave Paris safely tonight and will no longer be king and queen and will be free, as I relieve his kiss my lips and I feel as though I finally be able to put down a massive burden. And an uncertainty feeling truly belongs to me, but it makes me happy all the same. Who is it at this hour? There's no one. And I look in another direction and finally notice a sealed letter on the door. Mary, there are some last minute changes to the plan. Please meet me to the garden within an hour. And it's windy tonight, so remember to put on warm clothing. First. And why didn't he tell me in person what's happened? And I worry, but after checking the letter repeated, I made sure that it's fairness Friday and I prepared to head out into the garden. There are a few stars out tonight, and the garden is as quiet as ever, and I can't help but admire the scenery while I hurry towards the meeting spot. Fenner, did I keep you waiting? Only for a very short while, and thank goodness you're willing to trust me, and I'm worried that you wouldn't come if I left you the letter. And there was a last minute change in plan, and we must hurry now. And I peer in the direction he's looking, and I see a carriage waiting in the distance. It's fine as long as it's what you plan, and the king and Diana are ready. Or are they waiting for them? First, Fender does not reply, he simply looks at me quietly. And I detect a quiet calm mixed with sorrow in his eyes, and with a nod, I suddenly overwhelmed by the sense of horror and uneasiness. Maria, it's just the two of us. I don't understand what you mean. I'm sorry. I know it's hard for you to accept, and I feel like lying to you just to make you feel at ease. But I know you wouldn't want me to do that, and and I don't wish to lie to you, and I'd rather not deceive you in any way. Mommy, if you can promise me that no matter what happens, you will not change your mind about escaping this place, I'll tell you everything. I take a deep breath and shake my head. No, Fer, don't force me. I'm sorry, but I really have no choice. In fact, we have no choice in this, all of us. There's a time promise. I believe he won't tell me a single. I take a deep breath and try to calm down. I guess there's no time to waste, sister. Okay, I promise you. Just tell me everything you know. Everything. Of course. Fernand gently relieved and smiles at me apologetic. Dion has already left Versailles and is delivering the king's letter to Bastille and the Marquis de Lafayette. The letters indicate that he wants them to give up on any rescue attempts and requests that they spread the rumors about going after a wanted person. And that is you, Marie. Or more accurately speaking, it is be another you. And did you not get Dion to rescue a woman some time ago? He looks and figures closely resemble you, and when the time comes, Dion will take her out into the street. You intend to let her be bait? No, no. I know this will help us escaping, but how could I let her take the risk? Even if she impersonated me in the past, I still don't think this is right. Maybe she looks so much like you that even if she didn't sacrifice herself for yours, she'll still. Fast suddenly starts talking as though he can't bear to continue. She'll still what? He clenched both his fists and set his lips on a grim line. I don't push him. Instead, I wait quietly while the wind rustles the tree leaves. After a long while, he finally starts talking with a pained expression. As long as she gets mistaken for you, the only fate that lies for her is death. She has done no wrong, but you have done no wrong, but reality is cruel. Ugh. And I realize what Fernand is implying, and I start to tremble. Oh, Almighty God, and why are you so cruel to us? Fernand does not respond, and he sighs in a resigned manner. You know, I really do wish you would just stay wrapped in pure and good and part of the world and never have to encounter such nasty things. But we are going to be in even more danger from now on. It's okay, I understand how you feel, but I'm not that fragile and just. I shake my head and suppress my surge of feeling, and this isn't the time to be soft, and there's no time for tears. No, it's no matter what I see. Now tell me what you all plan to do. And I guess it's already planned or discussion when you had the private discussion with the king. Yes, the king has decided to stay in Versailles, and I will take you to Sweden. The revolutionaries are winning the people over to the side, and the Marquis de Lafayette is at their mercy. The situation is completely different this time around. Sweden has already allied with Austria, and it won't be all difficult for them to offer asylum, but we can't say the same for the king. I hang my head. Austria, my brother probably won't send any troops to save us now, right? My Horizonte's diplomatic promises are even flimsier than promises made by lovesick fools. No matter what, he's still the Emperor was to put the interests of his country first. Leon and I can only protect one another, and if I leave this palace with you, he can focus on the king. And if I refuse to leave, then everyone would die. Sacrifices are unavoidable, and we can only make sure that the people are not sacrificed in vain, and I learned this on the battlefield. Marie, do not let all of the sacrifices and hard work go to waste. Fenner grasped my shoulder while saying every word slowly and deliberate, and the tension in his voice is palpable. As long as you go on living, there is hope for the royal family, and that is what the king wishes and what I'm begging you for you as well. I want to say something, but the words stay stuck in my mouth, and I only manage a tiny choking sound. If you can't stand this pain, then just pretend I'm forcing you to come with me, and let everyone assume I elope with you, and I don't care if they think I betrayed the king. And just what is he feeling right now, and as he's saying all of these things? He must be suffering even more than I am, and he's still putting me first as always, and he's still so caring. And I reflect on what I said before, and that the people left behind will suffer even more, but now I truly understand that the people who are living also suffer great pain. Now it's no time to bury oneself in misery, and if we can't save everyone from execution, I must at least do my part for freshening myself. If someone has to bear this pain, I'd rather be the one to do it. And I want to remember it at both joy and pain, and then do my best to live on. I respect your willpower and courage, Marie. Let us go now. Once we left the heart of Paris, the carriage takes off in great speed like a bird furiously flapping its wings to escape. And the commotion in the distance is evident that Dion is busy doing his very best for Artsy. And I look at the window, heavy rain is pouring down the stormy clouds, helping to cover our track, but also hindering our progress. Fenner hasn't said a word, his eyes and hands clenching, and his eyes stare straight ahead of us, and ears peel for a great disturbance around us. Someone is approaching. Is someone coming after us? I can't be certain, but don't worry, I'm here. No matter what, I'll get you safely out of France. And we try our best not to think about what might lie ahead, and Fresno takes the horses and go even faster, and the carriage shakes violently. The name gets closer, and it sounds like our pursuers are almost on us. Fresno frowned. Marie, take this, and I hope you won't have to use it. It's a gun that I've seen him carry many times, and I hear that it's something he's using during the war. And he serves it over to me with a practicing and retrieves yet another gun from his belt, and he looks behind us. If I can protect you, don't hesitate, aim at them and press the trigger, no matter who it is. Alright, I understand. Once the carriage stops, Fresno jumps off, and I suppress a cry of fear and grin over the surroundings in silence. A flash of lightning reveals countless men and horses, and they look like vicious monsters here to tear us apart. And the leader is facing Fenner, and despite being clenched to the core, I recognize him at a glance. I finally caught up with you. And do you know what you're doing? After betraying France once again, you're betraying France yet again. Lafayette, tell me why you're here. Fenner grits his gun tight, and his voice is cut and grim. And I can't make out the expressions in the dark, but the atmosphere is so chilly that even I can feel it in the carriage. For the people and for the future of France. Other people in France are now your enemies, and do you really think you can fool everyone and escape from France? Lafayette's emphasis on what everyone makes us realize that he's trying to hide something. Take a good look, friends, and I'm not on my own, and how long do you think you can hold out? And look at this group standing behind him, and besides uniformed men, there are also people wearing all kinds of uniforms, and it looks like a hasty gathered squad. Lafayette wouldn't try to hinder us out of his own volition, and I'm afraid these other revolutionaries have been forcing him to lead them. And Fenner suddenly laughs mockingly. Oh, I forgot my old battle comrade that long ago, and I'm looking at a slave of the rebels. The civilians are the true owners of the country, and don't forget that you fought in the American Revolution by my side. The king and queen should not forget their positions, and you, Fenner, should hold true to your oath of loyalty to France. Cut the crap, and if our time on the battlefield still meant anything to you, you wouldn't point the gun at me. Lafayette was silent for a moment, and suddenly he strides forward as though he's trying to get to the carriage. The queen does not have the right to lead the country. You do not have the right to stop us. And Fenner raises the gun and aims at Lafayette, and slowly he steps backwards while grinning at Lafayette. And when Frederick stands back is pressed against the carriage door, Lafayette quickly throws a glance at the man behind him and speaks in a low voice. I'm going to let you go in a bit. The Volofilianes have more eyes than I imagine, and me and my companions will secretly open a way for you later. The two men speak in tortured tones, and I very quickly intuit that there have been more casualties. Thank you, old buddy. And I should apologize to you, friend, and I count on you to take care of the king and queen. The king is still in Versailles, the unprotected, and if you can somehow get away from the rebels, you should think of a way to get the people away from that area. Lafayette looks inside the carriage in surprise and happens to meet my eyes, and I feel every emotion flash across his eyes complex and deep, and I'm unable to tell what he's thinking, but I guess he must be suffering. I understand, and this time I won't break my promise. And please take care of your majesty. And he gives an almost imperceptible nod, and then retreats a few steps, and it looks like he's about to let us go without even bothering to hide it. Oh, buddy, you're still as gullible as ever. Fender lets out a chuckle, and then suddenly presses the trigger. Lafayette stares disbelievingly. You. Fenner's hand is trembling as though he can't quite hold on to his gun, and he leans weakly on the carriage exhausted. There's blood dripping from his hand, and the water at his feet quickly turns red. And he goes in pain but smiles, and if I leave without a single scratch on me, you'll get in trouble. Buddy, don't sacrifice yourself needlessly. You're always being so upright that it hurts. And you give the people hope, and you can't let them down and protect them on our behalf. And his face suddenly twists in fury, and he rose at Lafayette, covered his gun, pretending to negotiate, and then shooting me. So everyone thinks you're some great hero, and you're a traitor with no principles or substance. I am Swedish, and I've never been French, and if I'm going to die, I refuse to die in France. And the yelling penetrates the store and echoes down the alley, and let's go. Fenner is about to get onto the carriage. Fenner, where should we go? We leave. There's another gunshot, and I see Lafayette holding his left shoulder with his right hand, kneeling on the ground in pain. And the people who are about to attack us start crowding around him instead with anxious faces. Are you alright? That traitor, how dare he resist? And there's no one to give chase, and I shot him in the stomach. He won't live long. We find that capturing the king and queen will be a piece of cake. That's right, and we should tend to the General Lafayette first. Fenner shows the carriage and gathers up the reins in one hand. And the carriage speeds away, and the people and their voices gradually fade into the distance. And I look at the one in Fenner's hand, and it's not great, but it's so deep that I can't bear to look at it. When we're a bit safer, let's find a place to rest and tend to your wound. Yes, Marie, I won't cripple myself at such crucial moments, thank you. Are you sure? I want to be with you always. No matter what happens, I want to be with you always. That's all I needed to hear. But don't worry, as a right contrast battle, I won't die easily. And I'll only die for love. And if Lafayette Shaw puts me down, I'll go hunting for revenge. I know Fresno's only cracking a joke to reassure me, but strangely I do feel a bit tense. Your presence gives me the courage there to face it all, and thank you. We get silently ahead of the great overcast sky representing our unknown future. But we must not stop, and we shall not fear. All the sacrifices made so far must not be in vain, and so no matter how painful it is, we must do our best to live on. A few days after leaving France, we arrived in Sweden, and the journey has exhausted us, but the sight of the Swedish town in the distance is enough to make us forget all of our woes. Is this your motherland, Sweden? Yes. The nightmare is over, Marie, and there's no need for you to be frightened or worried anymore, and we should start brand new lives here. Fresno points to the distance, and his dark eyes rise stark contrast with his gleamy eyes. The people here are all down to earth and kind, and their way of life is rather different from that of France and Austria, but I think you like it. If they knew who I am, I know they wouldn't welcome me. You don't need to worry about that. The king has already arranged for you to live in a village up north, and the villagers barely know anything of the outside world. In their eyes, you're merely an unfortunate person who has lost all of her family members in an accident. It might be a little hard on you, but I think it's a safer solution. I'll be staying there alone, and what about you? On me. I'm sorry, Mary. Once you're all settled in, I might not be able to stay by your side for quite a while. I promised the king to stay by your side and protect you, but I also promised the king to act as a diplomat envoy and make Sweden more powerful. This must be the condition Sweden sent in exchange for political asylum. I already guessed at first Ned would say something like this, but I still feel despair. Fender had his own dreams and shouldn't be standing in one place because of me. And now he can do something for his motherland and show off his talent, and that has got to be a good thing. I'm sorry I couldn't have kept the secret from you, and I shouldn't break my promise, but if I can help protect you by doing this, it'll make the decision no matter how many times I relive this life. And I suppress my loneliness and sorrow, gazing at friends, and I put on the most smile I can manage. It might get a bit lonely, but I support your decision. The Swedish family will finally get to see how talented you are, and I'm happy for you. Your brilliant work in American and France has finally been recognized, and you're doing it all for me, and how could I possibly blame you? Without you, I might have been. Don't finish your sentence. But another friend will understand what I'm trying to say, and he looks off into the distance with a lost and sorrowful look on his face. It's been a long time away from France to Sweden, and the path has been full of blood and thorns. And just like you said, the nightmare is over, and from now on, the future is bright. Yes, we must live happily, happier than anyone and better than anyone. And it feels like we're promising one another, but also like we're promising ourselves. And while we're still lost in memories of the past, we hear the horse's name. Someone's coming. And we start the carriage and Fresno gets out to shake things, and he backs out in a moment and he's beaming. He's the king. He sends envoys to welcome us. And we're finally safe, Marie. The envoys convey me to the Swedish king's side, and the contents are pretty much the same as what Fresno already told me. They arranged for me to live in a northern village inside a small house in a peaceful environment, and every week the same food and other necessities to me. Though there are no service waiting for me, I am used to living alone in a previous world, and I actually feel like this is more carefree and relaxing. And when I'm more or less used to staying there, friend at least to fulfill his promise to the king of Sweden and travel to other countries. And he becomes increasingly busy, though he still makes his time to visit, and most of the time I don't see him at all. A few moments later, Fresno finally returns to Sweden with some news. The situation in France has stabilized. How's the king in Lafayette? I don't know. After we left, the revolutionists tried to locate the King Louis XVI and even tried to force Lafayette to tell them, but they failed, and no news means good news, and I hope he manages to save the king. I do believe that Dion is capable of protecting the king, and as for Lafayette, I heard he and some of his men escaped when the revolutionists let down the guards, and I've been trying to find out where he is, and someone told me he was last seen at Port Marseille. Port Marseille has he gone to America? It's possible America's a good choice for him. Yeah, the Americans owe him a lot of favor. Huh? I guess he went to like go fool around with George Washington to like start more revolutions, etc. If he really is an American, that's a good thing because he can have a fresh start there. And another thought, and that I know that no news is the best news possible, and I can help but worry about them. Friend, I'd like to visit a church. Will you come with me? Of course. In the quiet sanctuary of the church, Fred and I both close our eyes and pray fervently. Though it's not been in this world for long, and I met some very good people. And I know that all of this chaos is an unavoidable part of this era, but I pray that I will be able to change my fate as Queen Marie. And I hope that the King of Lafayette and Brazil and everyone I know will be able to achieve happiness. And I subconsciously look at Fred, and he senses my gaze and turns his head to give me a gentle smile. And I hope that the man beside me will be blessed with peace and joy for the rest of his life, and that he will not undergo any more hardships. And please grant me these wishes, and I'm willing to bear the price no matter how high it is. After a long praying session, there is a sense of bliss. And I just praying about you when you looked at me. And what a coincidence, isn't it? So what do you pray for? I pray that you'll be safe and happy, and I hope. Reflecting in his eyes, I sense that it seems to be his one and only. And his voice grows ever gentler as though he's making a sacred vow that I'll be able to protect you forever. Obtain the ending, a prayer for all. Alright, let's now do the second branching pass, 221 and then 222. And then After rushing to the Prince of Paris, the carriage finally stops in the deserted alley, and we can hear the rowdy sounds of the unusual traveling crowd crawling behind the building and the smell of beer, and a few drunkards lying prone to the ground outside. A tavern, the customers look rather rough. Just this is a good place to hide. Come in, you two. Oh yes, watch out for drunkards, and sometimes they cling on harder than the besought fools. Dion kicks away a man who had crawled to my feet, and he leads us to the tavern door at the end of the alleyway and carefully opens the door. Those who haven't passed out are busy partying inside, and no one takes notice of us. And in the corner there are several soldiers wearing armor, but they have all passed out in the table, and only one lone figure is sitting stiffly upright drinking. Lafayette. And he gulps down the beer, and though I can't see his expression, I sense the gloom hanging on him like an oppressive, formidable crown. Marquise Lafayette, and if you keep drinking like this and something goes wrong, I might have to take her away again. Madame Bernard, and Lafayette's face is red, but he seems pretty sober still, and his eyes are gleaming. You're both safe and well, and I have not let down my ancestor, and I have not broken my knight's oath. The king and I nod at Lafayette, and I feel a mess of complicated emotions when I look at him, and his eyes are full of regret and self-reproach. And what a pity that you won't let me exterminate these false traitorous crows, and otherwise we'll be able to cooperate a bit more trust. And Dion flees and I are the soldier snoozing at the table, and the murderous intent flashes across his eyes. And I follow his gaze quickly and recognize the faces, and these are the soldiers that betrayed us on that day. Please forgive me, I simply cannot aim a gun at the people who only meant me well, and when they committed a wrong that can never be righted. And when I finally succeed in ensuring your safety, I'll fulfill my last duty, and I'm willing to take responsibility, and I will accept whatever punishment. The king looks at the soldier silent, and it's impossible to tell what he's thinking behind that impassive face. And they're still willing to follow you, and you are also responding sincerely to the goodwill, and this means that you are a successful leader. As a ruler with the slightest bit of ease, and even if they already fallen to the lowest point, you should not blame such talent on you, or he will not be deserving of your loyalty either, Lafayette. Thank you for affirming time again that I am right in my loyalty to you. The king is right, and we should be thankful to them instead for supporting you even when the people force you to lead them in an attack on the royal family. Dion makes a disgruntled sound and stares unhappily at Lafayette. Explain to me why they're here in the first place. This wasn't part of the plan. They have been keeping watch over me every move and for the purpose of protecting me. And even when I say I wanted to come to the tavern to drink, they're unwilling to let me go alone, so I could only agree. Fortunately, they're not good at holding their liquor. And he looks at the soldiers, and all kinds of emotion flood across his face, and besides anger at being betrayed, there's also longing and regret. No matter what the reason is, he must be upset that his most trusted people have betrayed him. This may have followed him through the years and brought him on and fought under him, and they must have been as close as brother and as close as he is to Ferne. And if it were me, would I be able to forgive them like how Lafayette has forgiven them and continue to accept them? I don't think I'm capable of answering that right now, and I looked at Lafayette and happened to meet his eye. Marquise Lafayette. Yeah, worthy general. You may say that the king is the best ruler to the loyal, but actually you're the general most deserving of loyalty. I do not believe I'm worthy of such praise, your majesty. Perhaps, and I'm only saying what I think. And Lafayette looks troubled, and finally he's about to say something, but Dion interrupts him. Well, before these irritating boys wake up, let's move to a safer place to continue our discussion, shall we? But do we still have any safe place to go to? And those guys are probably still out there looking for us. There's no need to worry, and Dion smiles mysteriously and is somehow weirdly comforting. And one of my abodes is just behind the tavern, and I think that's the safest place than that. The heat from the fireplace really does warm up our bodies and heart and gives us a much needed respite from everything. And after a mouthful of Dion's hot tea, the king looks at Lafayette and asks about the situation in France. I'd like to know how the powerful revolutionaries are now, and are they beyond control? They keep shouting about freedom and democracy and have attracted countless people to their cause. And they contacted me saying that they represent the people and hope that I will lead them to fulfill the goal, but I rejected them. Because of us. No, not just because you and the king. With the thirst for freedom driving the people wild, law and order are disintegrating in France. And so fanatics have even started beating people out who support constitutional monarchy and they insist that it's not good for France. Heavens. It is distressing to think about it, let alone imagine. And France is splitting apart, hatred and conflict are spreading among the people. Is there no way nobody can stop them? Your Majesty, only lunatics can deal with lunatics, and I'm afraid that the Marquis de Lafayette and Blaisdell are not. And if there is a massacre, is their idea of freedom, I imagine that the Dion family will be an ideal part of the government for them. And they are blankly mockingly at them. May seem painful to hear, but he has highlighted the truth. How is Blaisdell, and has he gotten into any trouble because of us? The minute Blaisdell is mentioned, Lafayette freezes for a moment, and he seems hesitant, which is unlike him. Regarding his previous contribution to France, the people assume that he was only following orders from the royal family and has not really pestered him. That's good. No matter what France turns out in the future, I think the people will need him. Yes, and as for his views and thought, he may already cut off contact with me, and I don't know much. He isn't so much. Your Majesty, I'm not the only one who is furious about the men under the Marquis de Lafayette and Confessing have betrayed you. Jeff and I are no longer able to get him to trust us, and I believe he should have a plan to rescue us, but since we're unable to take part, we decided to act on our own. And Dion is familiar with all of the prisons in France, and he cannot in secret, so we decided to see his safe right away. And what about Fenner's situation? And he doesn't seem to be working with you. Yes, the situation now is such that we are unable to live in the same time, or the people will direct their anger at us and everything concerning us. And he seems to remember something unpleasant and pauses for a moment before continuing. At first we hoped to get help from Austria and Sweden, but Camarasi suggests that we ask aid from another country. He thinks that the situation in France keeps worsening and it would affect the neighboring countries and refugees will face a great deal of danger as well. I guess it's possible that the people of Austria and Sweden might decide to blame us and hand us over. It will be too dangerous, and I don't want to drag innocent people into this. Yes, after much discussion, we have only one option: to seek political asylum in America. America? It's halfway journey across the world, and the journey will be fraught with danger. And once we leave this continent, our chances of returning to Europe will be slim. You once aided America in their battle for independence, and the people regard me as an honorable citizen. I believe it will be the safest place of all. There's no time, and we haven't been contacted with President Washington, but they probably won't turn us anyway. And what are your plans once we reach America? If the people find out that you aided our escape, not only will you lose the trust of your men, but it will also crush the hopes of the people. I understand that. And consider everything carefully before I came to meet you. And Your Majesty, you know I'm not the one to do reckless things. Lafayette takes a deep breath and clenches his hand and then slowly unclenches them. I believe in protecting the people and holding freedom, but even so, I cannot continue to help France the way it is now. If France ever returns to sanity, I will help Your Majesty return and build a truly free country. And if it doesn't, if the situation in France keeps getting worse, Blaisdell knows how to take care of himself, and Camarasi will return to Austria. But Fenner is different. He was close to the royal family, and he stood out with us in the balcony. He wants me to tell you that the king that he's already in part of France and won't go back to Sweden like a defeated dog with his tail tucked between his legs. I admire his courage, so we both promise each other to fulfill an individual goals, and I sincerely request you and the king grant us our wishes. We settle into a deep silence and look at each other without saying a word. Should we stop them or should we give them our blessings? Since I come to the point where there's nothing that we can do apart from silently granting in our permission. And not in our internal struggle, Dion frowns and his mouth slowly vanishes to be replaced by an uncharacteristic, stern expression. If one is to die, one has to die meaningfully so that the death has value. Am I not right? The king closes his eye and lets out a heavy sigh, and when he opens the eye again, he regains his usual calm. Marie, what do you think? It's been grasping my collar anxiously, but I let go of it and meet everyone's eyes. Please inform them that if we ever get the opportunity to return, we'll like them to welcome us at our border. I will convey your message to them. Now that we're finally gathered together, we could discuss how to escape. The Marquis de Lafayette have already decided upon an escape route, and you simply have to follow him, Your Majesty. And as for me, I'll head to the border first to arrange a ship at the harbor. We'll go in an hour, and I need that time to deal with my men, and I won't let them spread the word this time. Let me do it for the king's sake. I promise I won't hurt them. And he brandishes a large coiled rope in his hand, and he seems delighted at the idea. Well, I do have my own preparation, so I'm counting on you, Madame Belmont. Your Majesty, you may wish to wash your shop and have a good meal while you wait, because you may not be able to later. Understood, and please focus on your errands and do not worry about us. As the Marquis, Lafayette, and Dion get busy, the king and I clean up as best we can and change out of our filthy clothing. We are more or less rested, and the Marquis de Lafayette informs us that we are ready to go. We get into the carriage, and as we go again under the cover of darkness, and once again the familiar Parisian streets fade into the distance, and there's no way of knowing whether this time we'll be able to escape from the giant bird cave and fly free. The violent jerk startles me away, and I look in another direction and notice Lafayette trying to console the king with an awkward expression on his face. Your Majesty, it's a problem with the carriage wheel. There's no need to be concerned. Understood. There's just three of us here, and there's no one that can help us. If I don't go check it, well, do you know how to fix a carriage wheel, Lafayette? No. No, I don't. So all of that soldier training, you didn't learn like something very basic. Well, there's no need to worry. There's no reason for you to adjust easier. And don't worry, I'll be careful not to be anyone recognize me. Before Lafayette can do anything, the king has gotten off the carriage. Your Majesty. I follow after Lafayette and try to stop him before he reaches the king. Let the king go, Lafayette. I understand how you feel, but if you and I cannot solve the problem at hand, then we must have to let the king handle it. You seem to suggest that the king is good at this sort of thing, but I don't understand. I'm not looking down on the skill required to fix a wheel, but if your average aristocrat isn't allowed to learn it, the king couldn't possibly have learned it. Even the ruler of his kingdom will have interests of his own. Marquis de Lafayette, you should have some too, don't you? I cannot deny that I have hobbies that I can't flaunt either. But as a ruler of the kingdom, if the situation allows, His Majesty could have lived a more carefree life. I follow his gaze and see the king kneeling on the ground examining the structure of the carriage wheel. The king seems happier than I've seen him before, and I nod and we observe the king silently, and he looks so innocent and satisfied right now, as though fixing a carriage is a spiritual task. I turn to look at Lafayette and notice that he has a rather complicated expression on his face. Marquis de Lafayette, may I ask you a question? Of course, as long as I can answer it, I'll do my best. All of the things you've done, and has your heart ever been in, and did you ever force yourself? Lafayette seemed stunned for a moment, as though he had never expected me to ask him such a question, and after brooding for a while, he replies earnestly, my desires aren't important at all compared to the kingdom and its people, and I'd rather see the people live ideal lives, so I decide to dedicate myself to freedom and to my ideals and sign up for the military. And when all of that has been achieved, I will be able to pursue my dreams with happier heart. The king has made the same choice as I have, and just that our positions are different so that the people expect perfection from him. Yes, this is the king's fate and his misfortune. And we hear a clear ringing tone, and the king turns to look at us, smiling gleefully. It's fixed, and now we can continue on our journey. Yes, your majesty. And overwhelmed with curiosity, Marquis de Lafayette examines the wheel carefully, and he's astonished and awe. The work machine is even better than that of a professional. Well, if it's run into anything like this again, let me handle it, and this is the only thing I'm useful for. Understood? So now that it is fixed, please return to the carriage, and we may hurry on, and once we're past this town right up ahead, we'll reach the border. And I nod, and knowing that the longer we'll stay outside the carriage, the greater the risk of getting recognized, I quickly get in. The wheels turn smoothly and we quickly reach the next town. And we load up on necessity, and after a brief wait we continue to the border. The road outside the town is uneven and the carriage keeps shaking violently, making me dizzy and nauseous. Lafayette turns away and seems unaffected, as though he's used to such a rough terrain. Please bear with it a little longer, and once we're past this stretch, the ground will be much smoother. This is nothing, just focus on driving, don't worry about us. Yes, the king is right. I look at Lafayette, and just as I'm about to tell him that I'm alright, I see a flash of light in the corner of my vision, and a shadow flees past. Watch out. The impact tosses me to the side, and I hit my head against the carriage. And I try to focus to the fog in my brain and hold the lump in my head, and I try hard to ascertain what's going on. Marquise Lafayette, what happened? A woman suddenly dashes across the road, and I could stop the carriage in time. The horse kicks her. Is she still alive? How badly is she injured? She's still conscious, and her wounds are not fatal, but if we abandon her, might die of a thing. Lafayette sinks in deep thought, and he looks grave and unsure, as though he's wondering if he should save her. Lafayette, I know why you're hesitating. We caused this accident, so we must save her. Your Majesty, we're not far from town, and her screams may have attracted attention. We might be recognized, but if you and the Queen both agree to save her, I will do as you wish. I think we should save her. Marie, what do you think? I want to save her too, but considering the situation, I think we'll be discovered. I think we'll be discovered and we'll never get a chance to escape France. And if we're discovered, lots of people die. I'm sorry. Lafayette and King look at me and then nod their heads. And so we decided, let's continue on. This town is nearby and someone will find her soon, and let's pray for her. Your Majesty, you. I know what you're thinking. I believe that is the right choice and say no more. And I was being willful when I said I wanted to save her, and you should not sacrifice the safety of many to fulfill my desires. Let's go there, Marquise. I forgot whether that was the right choice or not. And now I just replay it. Lafayette just, as he's about to run away from the woman, the sound of the horses can be heard from behind us. Someone's approaching. What do? We leave now. Yes, it's too late. The frantic name draws us close, and the riders are about to surround us. Hey, they're crashing to Rona. We gotta help her. And just at that moment, amidst the loud cursing, someone starts banging at the carriage door. Hey, you, get down. So you hurt someone, and you're not even going to take responsibility. You were just gonna run away. And we hold our breath and look at one another, and we start whispering urgently. Please wait in your carriage, you master. Deal with this. No, it's too dangerous. Lafayette looks at me silent, and he wouldn't be able to do such a thing in the face of such danger. No, there's no way. We will just need these people to disappear, and all three of us will be safe. But how could I possibly order him to do something that the cure innocent people will be worse for him than death? And I shouldn't let myself do such a thing. It's just not right. Hey, people in there, I don't care who you are, get out. Or we'll pry the door open. Either way, we're getting justice, you hear that? And the king looks at us rather and shakes his head, smiling bitterly. Looks like we had no choice. Do you have any idea? And if not, we'll just follow my plan. You have a plan? I don't see any way to solve the situation right now. We can always think of a plan, and why wouldn't I have one? And he passed both our shoulders and gets us out wistfully. And I suddenly have a very bad feeling, and I'm about to tell him to stop when he swiftly opens the door. Levon, this is an order, Your Majesty. And I'm really sorry, and it is my fault for being careless, and please don't raise your voices and don't scare my family. This lady, and the voices move further away, and though I can't see them, I guess that the king is deliberately leading them away from us. And I look at Lafayette, and his jaw is clean, and his veins pop in the back of his hand, increase the rain. Lafayette. And I make a shocking sound, and Lafayette looks back at me, and his eyes resolute. Sit tight. I look out of the corner of the window, and those who realize that the carriage and Moy are off now roaring furiously at the king. And some of them trying to come after their horse, and the king says something, and they stare at him in admonishment. And Lafayette calls out gravely, and please don't look anymore, for the sake of his dignity. All right. And my heart is pounding, and fear and sorrow are assaulting me in ways, and I can hardly breathe. Lafayette, aren't you afraid? We have no way of telling what's going to happen. And I've been afraid ever since the rebellion started. And I just lost his majesty, and I'm afraid I might lose you too. And Lafayette's boy has a taste of terror in it, and this is the first time I ever shown his vulnerable side to me, and I don't know how to respond. What should I say to reassure him? No matter what happens, I'll never leave you, and please believe in me. You. I won't say we'll die together, so let us live on together. As long as we live, we will have hope, and there will be hopeful friends. You're right, no matter what, we must live on. I close my eyes and try my best not to cry. And it's the middle of the day, but the sun doesn't seem to enter the cabin, nor does it warm me the slightest. And it's surrounded by an icy wind that makes me want to curl up and hug myself. And so I recall that line about how ones left behind suffer more than those who died. But I know that we must do our best to live on for the sake of those who sacrifice themselves, and no matter how hard it is to live on. After several nights of frantic travel, we can finally smell the ocean spray in the air. We finally reached the harbor, and we just need to meet up with Dion and things will slowly get better. The carriage slows down, and we're about to reach the meeting spot. And the moment it starts, someone taps lightly on the door. Good afternoon, Marquis Lafayette, and I'm delighted to see that you kept your promise and delivered the Queen and Queen. Leon's eyes just past me, and an empty seat is beside, and his smile vanishes. Where's the king? Lafayette silent angers Dion, and he nods his thing, glaring at Lafayette with wild, scary eye. I tell you what the man of your word, apparently you're just a liar. No, Dion, it's not like that. He's more responsible than anyone I know. And I'm just about to explain what happened when Lafayette stops me. It was my responsibility, and I should bear the blame. I'll spit it out. You might as well give me all your excuses at one go, and it might very well be the last words you ever say. And these cold words sent shivers down my spine, and I finally realized that he's really indeed a secret agent who deals with very dark matters. And Lafayette makes a note of threat, but he squares his shoulder and meets Dion's gaze fearlessly. At the last time, we accidentally knocked down a woman who was dashed across the road, and the town surrounded the carriage, demanding justice for her, and they wouldn't let us go. Just as I was about to deal with it, the king got off the carriage and sacrificed himself so the queen and I could escape. And so, you didn't do a thing, and your master protected you instead, and the master you claim to serve. Pain flashes across Lafayette's eyes, but is quickly quelled by his usual stern countenance. The king has ordered me to protect the queen and to continue to live. So whether you decide to treat me as your friend or enemy, I will not go against the king's final orders. This is the very last thing I must do and can do for the king in France. Sounds like an excuse to me, Dion. A flash of steel flies past me, aimed at Lafayette. Watch out. And before I react, I see Dion's sword resting against Lafayette's neck. I can't die here. Yes, I personally fear your resolve. And I look down, and another sword tip is resting against Dion's chest, and the sword tip's handle is firmly in Lafayette's grasp. You are the one that the king trusts the most, and I hope you will make the wisest choice. The one that the king trusts the most, haha. Others say that you're not good at talking, but I see you're better at words than striking vulnerable spots with words. And the other scored of his own, and his usual smile appears on his face, and he looks wistful in the direction of where the king is. I should go back there and protect the king. You two should go aboard the ship. Since this is the last order the king gave you, and you have the will to carry it out, there's no reason for me to stop you. Dion points back at the harbor and instructs us to various things we need to take on the snow. And if you don't manage to find the king, will you look for us? Dion insists to serve the king. And if my master does not exist, life loses its meaning. I live in France and shall die in France, and don't bother to thinking of me. As long as the king is safe, I shall be living. One day we'll meet again. His solitary figure retreats into the distance, and Lafayette and I look at one another, and we can all see each other's eyes in pain and longing. We can't tarry, and we must start our journey to America. All right. The gentle breeze and cries of seagulls mixed with the sound of waves makes me feel like this trip is becoming a reality. We really are leaving France. Yes. Once we reach our destination, no one will ever harm you again. He sounds so convinced that I don't doubt him at all. And I know very well that my safety comes at a hefty cost, and many lives have been sacrificed to make me come this far. I suppose you won't get a chance to return to France. I cannot be certain, but I do hope that you will be able to start a new life in a new place. You may forget everything about the past. But how could I forget? I haven't stayed in France that long, but I already experienced many unforgettable things. Joy, sadness, and other people here have left their marks on me. And I look at the 40 white waves in the distance, and although the terror and rage over the past several days has suddenly welled up in me, I shouldn't be crying. And there's no one here who knows you, and you can vent as you wish. He puts his hand on my shoulder and pats me gently. I wouldn't want you to forget everything. I won't forget either. I believe that you two hope to live on with your blessings. No, not just live. We must live with gusto so that their sacrifices are worth something. You're right. Not caring who can see me, I shut my eyes out, letting it all flow out of me, and silently the fire stands and wash over me. Though this is just what he usually does, I feel greatly confident, and once we're there, I will no longer be Queen Marie. It doesn't matter whether you're Queen, my resolve will not waver. It is the Queen's wish as well as mine. Thank you. Side by side we look into the distance, unable to bid farewell to the past, but with each other's companionship we can warm one another's heart, and that will help us regain our strength. Stop being so formal, and once we get there, we must use new names. You can call me Artsy Sister. Understood? Well then, please call me Gilbert. Alright, Gilbert. I'll be counting on you in the future. And even if the pain deep within can never be completely soothed, from now on we must learn to look forward to the future. And they live happily ever after in America. The end. Set into the future. Alright. Alright, so those are like the two endings of the Queen Mary chapter that don't end in decapitation. The whatchamacallit, the next time I stream this, I'm gonna be doing the side stories of Queen Marie.